Hey everyone, it is Kelly O'Neill here, and I am here with one of my amazing clients, Wendy Sterling, who is the founder and creator of the Divorce Rehab, as well as her brand new podcast called, is it Divorce Rehab or is it the girls?
The Divorced Women's Guide.
The Divorced Women's Guide. You guys, it's awesome. She just launched it. I am so proud of her. She has been just absolutely growing her business hand over fist during this uncertain time. So I wanted to welcome her here and have her share some of her strategies with you about how she has created such tremendous success in her business. Because I don't believe it, here's a couple things before I let Miss Wendy introduce herself. I don't believe in one size fits all strategies at all. And I also believe that certain people are more designed to do certain types of things. And I want her to share with you what she's done, particularly in her business, to create this level of success so quickly. So Miss Wendy, talk a little bit about your background, how long you've been in business.
Sure. So I was in corporate America for about 18 years and loved what I did, but I was good at what I did, but I was miserable in the line of work that I was in. And what I realized as being a mentor and a leader and a manager was that I really loved to inspire people to become their best selves. And it didn't, unfortunately, I got hit by a 2x4 in my personal life for me to realize that it was time for me to make a switch to become an entrepreneur. And I actually went through my own very unexpected divorce. And through that process, I was not only in therapy and reading self-help books, I also stumbled upon the world of life coaching. And so I signed up and I hired a coach and was able to actually move forward in my divorce very quickly, more so than I had in therapy. And so I decided that my divorce was happening for me, not to me, and that I was meant to serve a larger community in a much bigger way and to go into business for myself. I was an entrepreneur within organizations, launching regions for very well-known businesses like Refinery 29 and Who What Wear, and knew that if I could do it for them, I could do it for myself. And so what I did was I created a 5-step program that is now my proprietary signature program that I worked on with you to create the Divorce Rehab. And it is an invitation-only program that I invite women into to help them to find their true identity and voice, to design a life that they love instead of feeling stuck with the one that they have. So I was able to marry my experience in corporate America with the new methodology that I learned through my coaching program to create this program that I invite women into. And I launched this business about a year and a half ago. I switched into working with divorced women. And as you know, over the last 3 months, my business has exploded alongside the pandemic. And I literally just do one-on-one coaching with women on the phone. I also have a really robust private Facebook group and a list that I have developed through a lot of hard work that I have been doing as a result of the program that I enrolled in with Kelly last year.
And so you had some starts and stops with your business beforehand. Where do you, when you started, because obviously you already have a background in marketing and you already have, a go-get-'em attitude. What do you think that you were doing before marketing to Millionaire? What do you think you were doing that was not working for you?
Everything. I was in a lot of other programs. I was the person who I saw a squirrel and I went for the squirrel. I was trying to create a brand and market it before I even knew who I was. So I was in programs where I was running Facebook ads. I was being told to go into business organizations to find clients. And, I was grasping at anything that aligned with my business that would propel me forward, because, also understand I was going through a divorce. Finances were a little tricky and not as available. Those of you who've been through, things get frozen. And so I needed to make money, and I needed to make money quickly. So I was literally grasping onto anything anyone told me would get results. And the problem was I was doing it in the wrong order. And then by the grace of the Facebook spiritual gods, I saw Kelly.
Existed.
They do. And I found Kelly. And literally when I signed up for her free workshop, and it was Marketing to Millionaires, same day, you guys, I committed to the entire day of doing the workshop with Kelly. And with that same day, by implementing the strategies that she taught me, I coincidentally had a call with a potential client. And I said, what the heck, let's go for it anyway. And I took the strategies that Kelly taught the couple hours before, I used them on my call, and I had a new client by the end of the call. And I was literally like, holy crap, this has never happened before. Kelly knows her stuff. Like, I've got to get into this program. And so it was a no-brainer. I immediately enrolled. I got creative, and you've talked about this. You talked about this with the example you just talked about in mindset. Mm-hmm. I asked for a little bit of time because of my financial situation, and I literally borrowed money from my parents to be able to pay for Kelly's program. And when I thought about what I needed to accomplish to be able to reimburse them, it was literally as simple as enrolling one client. That was it, one client. And I did it that day. And I was on my way. And so, by being in your community, it's more than just, the program and you, it's the community. And because I've been in other programs, and I say this to people all the time, it's the community that makes a bigger difference in the program. The reason being that everybody that's in there, Kelly has a very clear, like a community, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, you just have culture. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I knew where you were going. I'm very
clear on the pandemic, and my brain isn't always functioning. But yeah, there's a special culture within this community that is unlike anything I've ever experienced before in my life. And so having that perfect combination of you and the PBI family, it's literally a family. It has helped me to propel my business forward in ways I never dreamed possible.
I love that. Thank you. We love having you. It really, like all of our communities, and we're creating the exact same thing in the Marketing Millionaires Business Accelerator as well. Like, it is designed to create that. And actually, a ton of our participants from our Profit-ology Business Incubator program are coming over to that program, including Miss Wendy. Yes. So let's talk about the strategies that you use, because again, you are going after affluent women. You are going after, you have a very specific criteria. And even in, you guys, like multiple times a week, she's like, I got another client, I got another client, I got another client. And these are really, higher ticket programs. So what Marketing to Millionaire strategies have been the most effective for you? What are the ways that you got this going so that you were able to create the results you're creating?
Yeah, hands down, collaborate to accelerate. I have been a machine booking collaboration calls, not just within this community, but also within the divorce community, that I know I have like-minded clients. So I set up, first I did a lot of homework, right? Part of what you have to do to figure out who your best collaboration partners are is really understand who your target audience is, understand their mindset, understand where it is that they're at in the process. And because I work with clients who are in the should I stay or should I go in the divorce process and out of the divorce process, I got to think about the different other professionals that these women were talking to. And so by, using Google and also going on social media, I started figuring out who the leading voices were in the divorce community, both locally as well as internationally. And so what I started doing was reaching out to them and using the Collaborate to Accelerate model, which is essentially sending them an email, picking up a phone, sending them a DM, however I could get a hold of them, and just say, I love the work that you're doing and I would love to support you. How can I help you? And the response I got back from everyone was, oh my God, everyone is always looking to leverage my list. No one's ever asked me what it is that I need. And so what I was able to do over the course of about 6 months or so was develop really tight-knit relationships with some of the top folks that have the loudest voices across social media in the divorce community. And it also taught me who I don't want to align with, right? There were people who do this for the wrong reasons. And I wanted to align my brand with people who had similar messaging to me and who had similar mindsets. Mm-hmm. And so it dawned on me that, you know, I was creating all of these relationships and I was sort of like the conduit for everybody, right? I was the one being really conscious to
the connector.
Exactly. And I had this vision one day where I realized that there was a reason that I was connecting so easily with all of these people. And I realized that we're all out there promoting our messages and there's so much overlap, but imagine the power of us coming together. And I am tech savvy. Yes, I have a marketing background. And I decided that I wanted to put on a free divorce summit. And I realized that there was overlap with their audiences as there were with mine. And so I knew that if I created one platform for them to get information from me, from every single expert, that there would be an opportunity for all of us to really tap into each other's audiences. Like, no one is me, no one is any of my guests. There's no competition. And so I was able to put together a 23 speaker summit where I taped all the interviews. They were 30 minutes each. I built the program, or I built the funnel in Kajabi, and I released it. And from that, I was getting so much feedback from the community, not only from my guests, but also from audiences that were just they were so grateful. And what it ended up doing for me was it built me a very qualified list, a database that I then established rapport, trust, and constant communication with. And then I worked them into, or not worked them, but I was communicating with them enough where I was then also moving them into a more private setting, meaning one-on-one calls with me to just support them, and also into my private Facebook community where I get to support them and they see me on video almost every single day. So it was really through those relationships that I was able to find my most ideal clients and to be able to market myself to them in a way and to know what their needs were to be able to serve them with my program.
And in addition to that, so and some of you might be thinking even to yourself, well, like that sounds like a mass marketing strategy. It's not in the way she executed. She happened to use mass market tools in some cases to leverage these already existing relationships and also to be able to serve those relationships, because now that she's got all of those partners also that she's now provided a platform to, how do you think her positioning is amongst all those partners, right? She's at the core hub of the connectors. She's also parlayed all of this into multiple different speaking engagements on live stages, right? And also podcasts and everything else, right? So she's really used this relationship model, not like, I think in mass marketing, there's a very different feel to this. There's like, let's just have a summit. Everyone's going to blast out stuff everywhere and we're going to get together. That's not the way, that was not her come from. Her come from was, how are we going to be of service? Let's collaborate. Let's all pull together to be of service. And the byproduct of that also is it's not like she just got a bunch of people and then just started pilfering out emails to them. She's getting on the phone with people. And that is why daily, every other day, I got a new client. I got a new client. I got a new client. It's like I need like a little dinger that goes off every time Wendy gets a new client, right? And it's been really fantastic because you've been able to serve so many people. What advice would you have out there to the people that are, you know, they're looking to get into this millionaire market? They want to hire, you know, they want to get higher end clients. What would be your strategic advice for them?
I mean, I think the biggest one was really getting to know my audience, like really understanding who your target is. Like, it's what you do in your process. Clarity is a key element before you even start going out there and running into marketing and creating logos and websites and all this stuff. You really don't, no one goes to I have a website, but that's not how I've been able to get myself out there in the community. It's really about you just getting crystal clear on who your target is, and then also understanding what makes you different, what is your unique messaging in, you know, sort of where your field is, right? Because you want to stand out. And that's one of the things that you've helped me do quite beautifully, is to figure out, well, it was really to own who I am. I was resisting it, thinking that wasn't what people wanted. And since I've stepped into my sass and my class and my tough love as a coach, it has opened me up, because there's nobody like me out there. And so by working
True story.
It is a true story. And I know it, right? Like, I know it and I own it when I'm talking about myself and my business everywhere. I am my brand. I don't need a website. I don't need a logo. I just need to be out there owning and standing firmly in my positioning. You know, one of the things also is, I think that in order for you to be a leader, you know, a CEO, my profitpreneur type is strategist. Okay. And I think I've shifted myself beautifully into owning CEO as well over the last couple of months. And that's a result of mindset, right? Which you just did a whole session on. Mm-hmm. And leaders, CEOs are leaders, and leaders get messy. Leaders don't wait. Leaders are in constant committed action to move their business forward. And I never really understood what that meant, because I was always the person who was like, well, it has to be right. It has to be the right way. It has to be the proven way. And I realized that that doesn't exist for me. I just need to get out there and do it. And yeah, I've done things that haven't worked. Oh, well, guess what? I got to learn from them and do it differently next time. Mm-hmm. And so I encourage everybody to really, you know, sometimes we get attached to the mechanism from getting from point A to point B. And I think that we need to understand and realize that there's millions of mechanisms to get from point A to point B. Yeah. And you've given us the overarching tactics, right, that we get to consider in getting from A to B, but we get to be creative in our own businesses and figuring out what works best, not just for us, but also for our audiences. And so you can't be afraid to get messy, get your hands dirty. Leaders, CEOs, they screw up all the time, and they just use it as a learning, right? I wrote in the last, in the feed before, that I've learned that obstacles are detours, right? They're detours to the better direction that you're supposed to be heading. And so we just need to open our minds to what's possible, instead of getting really stuck on one way to do things.
Yes. And that's why I believe there's no such thing as one size fits all strategies. No. And no, not everyone should be doing different tactics. You know, like Wendy is actually really poised. One of the reasons we chose as one of her, you know, so we've got the Marketing to Millionaire strategy, and one of the tactics we use is specific targeted speaking engagements. We chose to do that with Wendy because that works for her. She loves it. She's good at it. Her audiences respond to it. But maybe someone that, you know, there's other people that I would not recommend speaking for. It's just not their jam, or they're not ready yet, or whatever the case may be. So you really do, like, I agree with Wendy, like, you've got to get clear on your ideal client avatar. You've got to research your industry. You know, we provide a lot of research in our programs because you guys don't want to do it. So I'm going to do it. So I do it and give it to you. right? But then you've got to research your own niches as well. So Miss Wendy, where can they find out about you?
Well, you can reach out to me on Facebook, Wendy Sterling. And for those of you who are going through a divorce or you know somebody who is, please join my private Facebook group. It's called the Divorce Rehab. And my website is wendysterling.net.
And your podcast?
Oh, of course. This is like new to me. It just launched last week.
Okay. And I had a special deal. She and I had a deal where she had to reach a certain goal before we leveraged the podcast. So she has her podcast now. She's thrilled.
It's a dream come true. And I literally was on my vision board last year, and Kelly knows, like from day one, I'm like, just get me to my podcast, just tell me what to do to get my podcast.
Yeah.
My podcast is called the Divorced Woman's Guide Podcast. And it's really all about how to see your divorce as the best gift that you've ever received. So I bring my sass and my class to each of my episodes, and I'm starting to have some guests on. So that's going to be really exciting. And they're short. They're like 20 minutes. I did that on purpose because, I know my target doesn't have a lot of time. They're juggling kids. So definitely check that out too.
Awesome. Miss Wendy, thank you for joining us today. You guys, thanks for listening. If you want more information about the Marketing to Millionaires Business Accelerator, which is now open, please visit our page at Marketing to Millionaires Business Accelerator, marketingtomillionairesaccelerator.com. And we also have a little help desk on that page if you've got any questions. Thanks, Wendy, for joining us. All right, guys, I'll see you very soon. Very soon.
Bye.
In a few minutes. All right. Bye.
Thanks, Kelly.